What if the very thing they never wanted you to find was not success, revenge, or validation, but peace? Because the moment you stop carrying the pain they gave you, the moment you stop needing their approval, and the moment you start living with confidence and purpose, everything changes. Those who tried to break your spirit can handle your anger. They can handle your tears. They can even handle your struggle. But what they cannot handle is seeing you completely healed. In the next few minutes, you will discover why your peace becomes your greatest source of power, why healing transforms every area of your life, and why the strongest response to those who hurt you is becoming the person they never believed you could become. Your healing is their greatest loss. Why narcissists struggle when you move on. There comes a moment in life when you stop measuring your worth through the opinions, approval, or attention of someone who never truly valued you. It is the moment you begin to heal. Healing is not simply forgetting the pain. It is discovering a strength within yourself that existed long before the wounds were created. It is the awakening of a person who finally understands that their value was never determined by another human being. A narcissist thrives on control, attention, and emotional influence. They draw power from knowing that your thoughts revolve around them, that your emotions are tied to their actions, and that your confidence depends upon their approval. As long as this connection exists, they feel secure. They believe they remain the center of your world. But everything changes when healing begins. The day you start rebuilding your confidence, setting boundaries, and focusing on your own growth, you quietly remove the source of power they once depended upon. You no longer seek validation from someone who could never provide genuine appreciation. You no longer chase explanations, apologies, or recognition. Your attention shifts from what was lost to what can still be created. This transformation creates something the narcissist struggles to understand. They expected you to remain trapped by the past. They expected the memories, disappointments, and emotional wounds to keep you connected. Instead, they witness a person becoming stronger, wiser, and more independent than ever before. Success after pain carries a unique kind of power. It proves that difficult experiences do not have the final word in your story. Every step forward becomes evidence that your future is greater than your past. Every goal achieved reminds you that your potential was never controlled by someone else's behavior. Every moment of peace demonstrates that happiness does not require permission from those who once caused suffering. The greatest victory is not revenge, it is freedom. Freedom means waking up without carrying the weight of resentment. Freedom means investing your energy into dreams instead of disappointments. Freedom means understanding that your life is too valuable to be spent proving your worth to people who fail to recognize it. As you continue to heal, you begin attracting healthier opportunities, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of purpose. Confidence replaces self-doubt. Clarity replaces confusion. Determination replaces fear. The person you become is far more powerful than the person who once struggled to survive the emotional storms of the past. That is why your healing becomes their greatest loss. Not because you seek to hurt them, but because your growth removes their influence. Your success proves that their control was temporary. Your peace proves that their presence was never essential. Your happiness proves that your future belongs entirely to you. Never underestimate the power of moving forward. Every day you choose growth over bitterness, courage over fear, and purpose over pain. You build a life that cannot be shaken by the actions of others. The moment you fully embrace your worth, you become unstoppable. And nothing is more powerful than a person who has healed and discovered the greatness that was within them all along. Here's a 500-word motivational speech draft in the requested style and format. The power of emotional freedom. What happens when you stop feeding their control? One of the greatest turning points in life arrives when you realize that your emotions are valuable assets and that not everyone deserves access to them. For too long, many people unknowingly surrender their peace, confidence, and happiness to individuals who thrive on control. They react to every criticism, defend themselves against every accusation, and seek approval from those who are determined to withhold it. Yet the moment you stop feeding that cycle, a remarkable transformation begins. Emotional freedom is not the absence of feelings. It is the mastery of them. It is the ability to remain focused on your purpose, regardless of the distractions surrounding you. It is the decision to stop allowing another person's behavior to determine the quality of your day, your mood, or your future. Control only exists when participation exists. A person can manipulate your emotions only when you continue to hand them the authority to do so. The instant you reclaim that authority, their influence begins to fade. Their words lose power. Their actions lose significance. Their attempts to provoke reactions no longer produce the results they once enjoyed. This is where true strength is born. Most people believe power comes from dominating others. In reality, the highest form of power is self-mastery. When you can remain calm in the face of criticism, focused in the face of distraction, and confident in the face of rejection, you possess a force that cannot be easily shaken. The individual who once depended on your reactions becomes confused when they no longer receive them. They expected resistance, arguments, and emotional responses. Instead, they encounter silence, confidence, and emotional independence. What once worked no longer works because you have changed from the inside out. As emotional freedom grows, new opportunities begin to appear. Energy that was once wasted on conflict becomes available for growth. Time that was once spent worrying becomes invested in goals. Mental space that was occupied by stress becomes filled with creativity, vision, and purpose. You begin to discover talents that were hidden beneath emotional exhaustion. You develop confidence that no longer depends on praise. You create goals based on your own desires rather than the expectations of others. Most importantly, you start building a future directed by intention instead of reaction. Life rewards those who control their minds. Every great achievement begins with a decision to focus on possibilities rather than obstacles. When you stop feeding someone else's need for control, you redirect your energy toward your own success. That energy becomes the foundation of personal growth, financial progress, stronger relationships, and lasting fulfillment. The world belongs to those who understand that peace is a form of wealth. Every day you protect your emotional freedom, you increase that wealth. Every time you refuse to engage in unnecessary drama, you strengthen your character. Every moment you choose purpose over conflict, you move closer to the life you deserve. Never forget that your emotions are among your greatest resources. Guard them wisely. Invest them carefully. Direct them toward your dreams rather than your distractions. The day you stop feeding another person's control is the day you begin feeding your own destiny. And from that moment forward, your life starts moving in the direction of true freedom and unlimited achievement. Here's a 500-word motivational speech draft in the requested style and format. From victim to victor, how your growth becomes their biggest defeat. Every great transformation begins with a decision. It is the decision to stop identifying with the pain of the past and start building the power of the future. Many people spend years carrying the weight of disappointment, betrayal, rejection, and emotional wounds. They see themselves through the lens of what happened to them rather than through the limitless potential of who they can become. Yet the moment that perspective changes, everything changes. There is a powerful difference between a victim and a victor. A victim believes circumstances determine destiny. A victor understands that circumstances may influence the journey, but they never define the destination. The challenges you have faced were not sent to destroy you. They were opportunities to reveal strengths you did not know you possessed. The individuals who tried to discourage you expected your confidence to disappear. They expected your dreams to shrink. They expected your setbacks to become permanent barriers. What they never anticipated was your ability to rise stronger than before. They underestimated the resilience of a determined mind and the unstoppable force of a person who refuses to surrender. Growth begins when you stop asking why this happened to me and start asking what can this teach me. That simple shift transforms obstacles into lessons and pain into wisdom. Every challenge contains a hidden opportunity. Every disappointment carries a valuable insight. Every difficult experience develops qualities that cannot be acquired through comfort alone. As you grow, you begin to see yourself differently. You no longer focus on the losses. You focus on the lessons. You no longer measure your value by the opinions of others. You measure it by the standards you set for yourself. Confidence emerges not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. One of the greatest victories in life is refusing to allow negative experiences to define your future. The person who once doubted themselves becomes a person of purpose. The person who once sought validation begins creating achievements. The person who once felt powerless discovers an inner strength that cannot be taken away. Success becomes more than reaching goals. It becomes evidence of transformation. Every step forward is proof that adversity did not win. Every accomplishment demonstrates that challenges can be converted into fuel for progress. Every moment of growth sends a powerful message that your future is greater than your past. The greatest defeat for those who expected your failure is not seeing you seek revenge. It is seeing you succeed. It is watching you build a life filled with purpose, confidence, and peace. Nothing is more powerful than a person who channels pain into progress and disappointment into determination. When you commit yourself to growth, you take control of your destiny. You stop living as a product of yesterday and begin living as the creator of tomorrow. Your focus shifts from what was taken from you to what can still be achieved. Your energy moves away from regret and toward possibility. Remember that every successful person has faced moments of struggle. The difference is that they refused to remain there. They chose growth over bitterness, courage over fear, and action over excuses. Do the same, and you will discover that the journey from victim to victor is not merely a change in circumstances. It is the awakening of the greatness that has been waiting within you all along. Here's a 500-word motivational speech draft in the requested style and format. When you reclaim your worth, the narcissist loses their influence. One of the most valuable discoveries a person can make is the realization that their worth has never depended on another person's opinion, approval, or treatment. The moment you truly understand this principle, you begin to unlock a level of confidence that cannot be manipulated, controlled, or diminished by anyone. This is the moment your life starts to change in profound ways. Many people spend years searching for validation in places where it can never be found. They seek acceptance from those who constantly criticize them. They seek appreciation from those who rarely acknowledge their value. They seek love from those who only offer attention when it serves their own interests. This endless pursuit creates emotional exhaustion because it places personal worth in the hands of someone else. The truth is that no one can determine your value except you. A narcissist gains influence when you doubt yourself. Their power grows when you question your abilities, minimize your strengths, and seek their approval to feel complete. As long as your confidence depends on their opinion, they remain in control of the emotional balance. They become the source of validation that you continuously pursue. But something extraordinary happens when you reclaim your worth. You begin to recognize your talents, your resilience, and your potential. You understand that your value is not something another person gives you. It is something that already exists within you. The more you embrace this truth, the less dependent you become on external approval. Confidence begins to replace insecurity. Clarity replaces confusion. Self-respect replaces self-doubt. Instead of chasing acceptance, you start focusing on growth. Instead of seeking permission, you start making decisions based on your own vision and purpose. This transformation changes every area of your life. When you know your worth, you establish stronger boundaries. You stop tolerating behavior that diminishes your peace. You become selective about the people who have access to your time, energy, and emotions. You no longer feel obligated to prove yourself to those who refuse to recognize your value. The influence of a narcissist weakens because the foundation of their control disappears. Their criticism loses its impact because you no longer define yourself by their words. Their manipulation loses effectiveness because you trust your own judgment. Their attempts to create doubt fail because your confidence is rooted in self-belief rather than external approval. One of the greatest principles of achievement is that success begins with self-respect. Every meaningful accomplishment grows from the belief that you are capable of creating something greater. When you reclaim your worth, you unlock the courage to pursue opportunities that once seemed impossible. You stop settling for less than you deserve and start building a life that reflects your true potential. The most powerful response to those who underestimated you is not anger. It is growth. It is becoming the person you were always capable of being. It is demonstrating through your actions that your future will not be limited by someone else's perception of your value. Remember that your worth is one of your greatest assets. Protect it, strengthen it, build upon it every day. The moment you fully embrace your value, you become independent of the opinions that once held you back. And when that happens, those who relied on your self-doubt lose their influence, while you gain the freedom to create a life defined by confidence, purpose, and unlimited possibility. Here's a 500-word motivational speech draft in the requested style and format. Healing changes everything. Why your peace disturbs those who tried to break you. There is a remarkable power that emerges when a person heals from adversity. It is not loud. It does not seek attention. It does not announce itself to the world. Yet it possesses a strength greater than anger, greater than revenge, and greater than any attempt to prove a point. That power is peace. Many people believe that healing means forgetting the past. In reality, healing means learning from the past without allowing it to control the future. It means taking the lessons from painful experiences and transforming them into wisdom. It means refusing to allow disappointment, betrayal, or hardship to become permanent residents in your mind. The journey of healing is one of the greatest achievements a person can experience because it requires courage. It requires the courage to let go of resentment. It requires the courage to stop replaying old wounds. Most importantly, it requires the courage to believe that your future can be greater than your past. Those who attempted to discourage you expected your spirit to remain wounded. They expected your confidence to disappear beneath the weight of criticism and negativity. They believed the obstacles they placed in your path would permanently limit your growth.